All right, now that we are halfway through fall and we're coming to the end of 2022, it's time that we start thinking about 2023. What are we going to do in light of this really changing world? The world has changed a lot over the course of 2022, and I thought it'd be a good idea for me to perhaps go through some of the recent changes and see what we can, tease out of what's happening there, especially now we've gotten into the fall season, in which case the real estate market often gets to some sort of semblance of normal after the summer months, and we all know that the summer was a bit of a doozy. So right off the get-go, let's discuss or review the recent Bank of Canada rate increases. I know for a lot of people this is bothering them there. We've got, I've got this nice little chart kind of showing what has transpired over the last several years. And to be honest, we've never, at least during my generation's working career, seen rate increases as extreme as what we have seen in the year 2022. And you can kind of see going back to 2017, yes, we have had rate increases, but at a much more gradual rate. Now, this is the Bank of Canada's rates, their prime rate. And keep in mind, the banks typically are set for more or less 2% above that rate. Okay, and then you'll have a variable rate that will adjust according to the bank's rate. Be it whatever bank you are, not the Bank of Canada's rate. Okay, but either way, it does show you here, how high we are going. So this obviously is impacting the buyers and what buyers will qualify for, and obviously their comfort level as far as how much they're willing to take in monthly obligations for a mortgage. And that has, as we can look at the real estate board, see here in their recent update to us, that the home sales for the month of October have actually slowed considerably. That being said, as much as they have dropped, I'm going to look at our peak stats here. Looking at for the month of October, we had about 312, whereas October of the year prior, we were at 527. So yes, significant drops in volumes. That being said, these numbers aren't that far off from our 10-year average. And the nice thing is, even if the inventory is rising, the home prices appear to be dropping. And I believe a lot of this has to do with the fact that really, what are people's choices? We all need lodging, and if you're not going to buy, the other option is renting, and the rental market is very, very lean, and home rent prices are very, very high. So as much as the mortgage rates are high, at least it's a nice feeling owning your own house, and hopefully these rates will start to drop over the next year or so once we can get inflation under wraps. So you can see here our price chart. We did that rather high peak. It dropped off over the course of the summer and spring and summer. And then we did a bit of a stabilizing, seeing a slight drop here in the month of November. But again, we're not done the month of November, so be careful with that little drop there. We'll see what transpires come the end of the month of November. The other thing to pay attention to is, how long houses are sitting on the market. As you can see, we were extremely low. Like these homes were selling very quickly. In most cases under 10, really closer to 7 days on the market average, and now we're creeping back up to 35 days. I think the real estate board has put together some really good information here, so I'm going to share with you. It is all going to be in the newsletter, so if you want to look at that in more detail at your leisure, by all means do so. One thing that kind of caught my attention was they indicated here that we have 134.9% more inventory on the market than the year prior. But pay attention here. It does indicate though that we are 34.9% less than the 10-year average. So last year was a bit of an anomaly, so keep that in mind. Just like when we see that spike, people say, oh, the housing values have dropped. Yes, they have, but again, that was maybe a momentary drop at that point in time. Okay, the other thing to pay attention to is that we are seeing the houses sitting on the market. It says here 160% longer than the previous October. That being said, it's only 1.3 months, and our average between 2009 and 2015 was actually 3.6 months. So really, it's actually significantly quicker for these homes to come off the market. So here again is a chart. This one's produced by the Waterloo Regional Real Estate Board. And what I find really interesting right now is that our prices are actually in line with where we were more or less this time last year, 2021. So you can almost ignore that little blip that occurred there. They're really retaining their value quite nicely.
Okay, when analyzing the real estate market, we need to look at more than just where the housing prices are going. We need to keep in mind, how long is it taking for these houses to sell? Because often, as homes sit in the market, they too tend to sell for less money. And of course, as there's more competition, that can also impact things. So yes, while we're seeing the homes sit in the market and there is a significant rise in inventory, as is indicated here. We went from having almost 2 weeks of inventory to almost 2 months worth of inventory. It's not unheard of. To be honest, 2 months is actually quite good, and it provides more of a stabilized market. If you look back at previous years, as I've indicated here, 2019, 2020, we're back to that time frame. The market was very strong at that point. As you can see in 2016 and 2017, we did see a drop in inventory as demand was quite significant at that time. But going even prior to then, we would often carry 3.5, 4 months worth of inventory at any given time. So right now at 1 to 2 months, this is a more stable market. It's not necessarily a bad thing, and definitely not necessarily a seller's market, which is a good indication as to why, a buyer's market, which is a good indication as to why homes are retaining their values. Now, again, same thing in regards to how long homes are taking to sell. We were down to an average of 7, 9, 10 days, and now we're looking at much higher, around 23 days. But going back into history here, throughout prior to 2020, we would often do 27, 30 days. And again, before the 2016, 2017 drop in inventory, houses, once again, would often be on the market 47 days. So, at 20 days, the market is still very strong. There's huge demand, as I mentioned earlier, in regards to people just need to have a lodging of some sort. And when rental prices are as high as they are, as much as the mortgage prices are not desirable, at this point, if they can get into a home, that's what people want right now. And ideally, if those mortgage rates drop in the future, I don't predict that will be happening anytime soon, but hopefully at that point in time, they'll become more affordable, which is why we really need to pay attention to our budgets to ensure that we are not house poor.
So considering 2023 and the projected recession that's coming our way and the high interest rates that have been set by the federal banks across the world, I think it's very prudent for many of us to consider our financial standing and what we plan on achieving in the new year and future years. So one thing I've done for a lot of my clients when I'm helping review their financial situation, approving them for a mortgage, is I'll often say to them, here's what I can get you as far as how much mortgage money to buy your future home. Just because I can provide that to you doesn't necessarily mean that you should take full advantage of every dollar I'm willing to provide you. It is their responsibility, and I do highly encourage them to prepare their own personal budget, because the last thing you want to be is house poor. I've actually put together a nice little article down below my newsletter that kind of talks a little bit about that. So in the process of doing that, a lot of people I find, we just kind of live life. We drive down the street, we see a McDonald's, see a Tim Hortons, and, we pull in, we spend the money. And we don't realize how much money we're spending all the time on just doing these little things here and there. It's just a few dollars here, a few dollars there, but it can add up to a lot. That's one thing I've said to a lot of clients is that for every $50 to $60, depending what the mortgage rate is, you can qualify for up to $10,000 additional money. So if you can streamline your spending habits in certain areas and then reevaluate that, you can now access that money. I've actually had several clients do that over the years. And that's what I call taking control of your finances. Don't let your finances control you. You need to control your finances. If you know where the money is coming and going, then hopefully you can put that towards your long-term goals, which you'll be much happier about than perhaps that coffee or that convenient meal out, whatever the restaurant is. I'm not saying cut the stuff out altogether, but just perhaps reevaluate how often you're doing things. So I often provide a lot of my clients with a budget template. So here's an example. I'm going to put that down below my newsletter, and by all means you can go ahead and download this and tweak it to your own desires. We've got the download a copy right there, so I'm kind of showing you here. So just go ahead, click the link, click the picture. It'll take you to this on your website, and I'll have it available for the next couple of weeks or few weeks. And by all means, share it with anybody you feel that could benefit from this information. If you would like to talk about it, I'd be more than happy. A complimentary evaluation of your financial situation. If I can help you guys set up a plan so you can get ahead for the long run, hopefully buy a home or whatever else is going on there, or just be in a better financial position, it'll be a complimentary financial analysis and an evaluation for myself. We can either do so here in my office, set up a Zoom meeting so we can talk through the computer, or just over the phone if that's more convenient. Okay, so yeah, all the best as you prepare for 2022 and as you prepare for Christmas. Merry Christmas, and hopefully I'll just fire off another Christmas greeting as we come to the end of the year. Any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I always love hearing from all of you guys. Hopefully this information was helpful, and wishing you all the best for 2023. God bless.